Good evening. My name is Maya Olson, and I'm the chair of the Fairburn Ethics Board. We will call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Rodney Anderson,
Present.
Vera Ragland,
Present.
Thomas Cochran,
Present.
Tony Smith,
Present.
Danita Jones,
Present.
and Kenneth Williams is absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. May I please have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Who provided the second?
There were two people. I was one, Ragland Jones.
And none opposed. We will now move on to the agenda. Which will be the evidentiary hearing of complaint number 25-04. The complainant is the Honorable Mario Avery, and the respondent is the Honorable Samantha Hudson. At the offset, let me caution everyone, we're going to maintain decorum and professionalism this evening. We have a court reporter present who will be transcribing this hearing, so it's important that we only have one person speaking at a time. Our agenda sets forth the process and order of the proceedings we'll be using tonight. Our hearing will be governed by the board's duly adopted parliamentarian rules and hearing procedures. In terms of the burden of proof for tonight's hearing, that is set forth in Hearing Rule 8.5, which states that, quote, the standard of proof for proving an alleged violation of the Code of Ethics shall be a preponderance of the evidence. With that, we will now entertain opening statements. Opening statements have been set at 10 minutes. We will hear from the complainant first, and then it is now my understanding a few moments ago that her respondent and her attorney are not available tonight. The board has voted to continue.
Okay.
With that, opening statements.
May I proceed?
Yes, please.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, good mic.
Madam Chair, before you proceed, I would suggest you have a motion and a second to proceed with the hearing in spite of the respondent's absence.
Board, is there a motion to proceed given that our respondent and her attorney are unavailable this evening?
So moved.
Second.
Second, who gave the second? Okay, Anderson, second.
Anderson, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. And you may proceed. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Charles Brandt, and I represent Mayor Mario Avery in these proceedings. We appreciate the opportunity to appear before this board and address the series of allegations made by Councilmember Hudson. Let me state at the onset, the mayor and the city clerk have acted at all times within the boundaries of law in accordance with the city charter, Georgia Open Records Request, and the Open Meetings Act, and ethical obligations that govern the public service. The allegations presented here are not only legally unsupported, they are part of a long and troubling pattern of harassment, mischaracterization, and personal targeting of city clerk, and by extension, the mayor and members of the city administrative team. Since late 2024, Councilmember Hudson has engaged in a sustained campaign of antagonism against the clerk, beginning with complaints over routine agenda placement and escalating into formal accusations of ethical and legal violations. The record is extensive. One, multiple emails demanding documents that are explicitly protected by statute. Two, repeated threats of legal action. 3, false public accusations of impropriety. 4, a persistent refusal to accept legal interpretations provided by the city attorney. Councilmember Hudson has claimed violations of the Georgia Open Records Act, specifically concerning access to executive session materials, yet the law is clear. Executive sessions minutes are not public records. They are confidential and may only be disclosed under court order and not at the unilateral demand of an individual council member. The clerk provided everything she was legally permitted to provide, and the city attorney repeatedly clarified the position of the council member Hudson. When her demands were not met, not because of obstruction, but because of legal constraints, Councilmember Hudson proceeded to file formal complaints, including the Georgia Attorney's General, including with the Georgia Attorney's General Office. The complaint was fully reviewed and ultimately dismissed without finding of any wrongdoing. Instead of accepting those findings, Councilmember Hudson pivoted to accusations of defamation, retaliation, and the creation of a hostile work environment. She has alleged misconduct against the clerk, demanded that the clerk's assistant be reassigned, and implied that routine administrative behavior is part of a broader conspiracy against her and her office. Her conduct alone has gone far beyond the legitimate oversight. It has created a toxic and destabilizing atmosphere in the city hall, one that has interfered with the city's ability to perform its duties and placed under undue pressure on staff members. As a result, the clerk has been forced to file an EEOC complaint in July 2025, citing harassment, retaliation, and discrimination. Mayor Avery has also been drawn into the matter unnecessarily, accused of withholding information and embezzling misconduct. Claims that are unsupported, inflammatory, and categorically false. The mayor has constantly advocated for transparency and lawful governance. When he saw the clerk being publicly maligned despite legal compliance, he stepped in to de-escalate the situation and affirm the professionalism of his staff. The hearing should not serve as a platform for political grievance or weaponizing ethic procedures. The ethics board role is to uphold integrity, not to facilitate character attacks or distort law or personal potential advantages. Either Councilwoman Hudson doesn't understand the code of ethics the city and the council members have to uphold, or she just purposefully does not care for the ethic code and the laws governing the city of Fairburn Code of Ordinance and is persistent in her actions not to follow the rules. We ask that you review the timeline, the correspondence, and the legal standards at issue. When you do, the facts will be clear. The city followed the law, the mayor acted appropriately, and that the councilwoman ethically acted outside of the scope of her position. We believe you'll find that after you hear everything, and we appreciate your attention and look forward to proceeding with all that information you have to present before this panel this evening.
Thank you very much. Can we move forward with the complainant's case?
Yes, we can. I think at this time, okay, I think we're gonna go, we're gonna jump for all cursor. So, at this time, I think I would like to, call,
Madam Clerk, is someone keeping time? I think we wanted to keep this portion down to 20 minutes. Or
It's on the clock.
Okay.
I mean, it's on the screen.
at this time, we'd like to call Ms. James. Brenda James.
Ms. James? Podium is fine, or where,
Mrs. Smith.
And when you speak, if you will speak in the microphone.
That's fine.
Good evening, Ms. James. Okay, would you,
Why don't we swear the witness in first?
I am. Okay, would you state your full name for the record, please?
Brenda B. James.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear and affirm that the testimony that you're about to give here this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, and you've already stated your full name for the record, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so, Ms. James, I want to talk to you about your relationship with the council member that has you here this evening. Are you familiar with, you have experiences with Councilmember Hudson?
Experiences?
Well,
Yes.
well, have you had antagonistic experiences with her while on your job?
Yes, I would say so.
Would you describe for the panel these when did the conflicts or the coincidence that has brought trouble to your job and to the city that you believe are meaningful that you could present to this panel? Would you go through those things that you have?
Well, I would say it started 2024. I put something on the agenda, and I was accused of targeting Councilmember Hudson. And then,
Okay, hold on, before you go on. Could you explain, do you know exactly what you put on so they can have clarity and understanding?
I put an item that Councilmember Hudson asked to go on the agenda, and when I do, I try to list what council person asked for that. And she said that I didn't do it for someone else. Well, no one else had asked for anything to be on the agenda.
Okay, so I want to be clear, so they can understand. What you're saying, what you're telling the panel is that Ms. Hudson asked you to put something on.
She requested something be on the agenda herself.
You put it on the agenda,
I did.
and then she attacked you for doing it.
She said that she felt if I put her name, it was targeting her.
Okay.
So I removed it from the agenda.
And whatever came of that?
Nothing.
Okay, go on, you may go on.
There was an ethics complaint filed in, I believe in March. Councilwoman Hudson filed an ethics complaint against another council person. And after that complaint was filed, I started getting questions about executive session protocol. They should not have been in executive session. What was the consistency of handling ethics complaint, access to the meeting minutes, records, potential violations of Open Meeting Act. And I responded to everything that I could respond to as the clerk. Some of those questions actually I feel should have been sent to the city attorney, but everything was addressed to the clerk. I received another email that was the 17th, that was the 18th. I received another email right after that requesting the minutes, the transcripts, the video footage. I sent the video footage where you could get the link. I sent all of the minutes, but no matter what I sent, it was not what she felt she should have received. Then I was asked for the,
Sorry, I don't mean this. I just want to make sure you answered the question that you presented.
okay.
You sent her what you had that was available to send to her. You did respond by sending her what she requested.
Yes,
I want
I
to make sure
did.
that's clear. So is that correct?
I responded, I sent a copy of the minutes, the action minutes, the affidavit, and the letter of dismissal that the board had done.
Okay, and what
I-
came out of that?
And I sent a link where you can go and find the video. After that, I received another email, and the email said that the affidavit was not correct, that she deserved to get the executive session minutes, and that I didn't need to talk to the attorney. So what I did, I turned around and I sent the law that states that you cannot get executive session minutes, that the executive session minutes, she was not in executive session, therefore she was not privy to executive session minutes. So then I received another email that said that I was bound by ethical standards to do principles of transparency, be honest. And after I sent that, I'm trying to,
Excuse me, before you go on. So you got that when your response to her was that you could not comply with her about this request she made, she sent you an email telling you something about transparency or something to that nature.
Yes,
As if you weren't being transparent and that you didn't give her the information to answer her question, correct?
correct.
Okay, so I guess so we can be clear, you answered the question and she continues to look for things and try to elevate things that are not there. Am I correct?
Yes, anything that I sent, there was another email that came that I didn't do. She said she had issues with the copy of the affidavit that was sent.
What was the issue?
It wasn't proper. I don't know what the issues were because the affidavit it came from the attorney as to how it was supposed to be signed. She said I was neglecting to follow the law.
Did she
And
give you
that-
the law that you were neglecting to follow?
No,
Did she raise a point to you any place where the law was saying that you should do something different other than what you were doing?
no, she said my actions suggested that I was attempting to evade transparency.
Okay, and she didn't quote or point you to anywhere where something had been established where your pattern fit that pattern of doing what she accused you of?
No.
Okay, so you can proceed.
Then on March 29th, the city attorney answered everything again that I had sent and told him that it gave his legal opinion on what had been sent.
What was that opinion? If you-
His opinion was the same thing, that I had sent the law where the executive sessions could not be given out and that I had done all that I could do legally.
Okay, go ahead.
I was threatened with further legal action.
Specifically what?
She said failure to comply with the law would not be tolerated, and I reserve the right to take further legal action if required against you.
Go ahead.
So on March the 31st, I sent an email to the city attorney and the mayor stating that I was aware of my duties and responsibilities and that I was being harassed with the further emails because those emails were Councilwoman Hudson's opinion, they were not facts. As the clerk, I have a right to deal with the attorney. I have to because the attorney is the one that tells us the laws. And I didn't go to the attorney. I just quoted what the open records law was regarding the executive session. I told them that I was further reviewing the podcast because my name had been called out on the podcast several times for violating Open Meetings Act and not being transparent, that I had not violated any Open Meetings Act and I had not invaded any transparency, that I was continued to be threatened with further legal action, and I asked them if they could stop this. So on April the 1st, the mayor sent a letter to Councilwoman Hudson telling her that she kept falsely accusing the clerk and asked her to stop. And of course, she responded back to the mayor that she was an elected official and would be not. Then April the 2nd, I got another email where she asked me to provide her an update on her filing where she had filed a complaint against everybody that was on the ethics, that heard the ethics complaint against her. Then I got another one on April the 2nd asking me to send a list of the investigative committee. Then I received another one asking me to send the emails for all of the ethics board members. And then again, the email that I received on March 31st with all the threats in was sent again on April the 4th.
Excuse me, Councilman. I want to ask you, so we can be clear, how much of this information she's asking you for, does she have the ability to go retrieve herself?
Well, she knew who the investigative committee was because I had sent out an email. I sent out an email with the list of the people who were on the investigative committee, but this was for an email, this was for a case that had been filed against somebody else. This case was against her and Mr. Heath. She thought that the case was against the one that she had filed against the investigative committee because I had them listed on it. Okay, so which was incorrect. It went to the investigative committee, which consisted of every other person on the council except for Councilmember Heath and Councilmember Hudson. She thought I was sending it to the people that she had filed the ethics complaint against, which was the current investigating committee.
She was wrong in her assumption.
Yes.
You explained that to her,
No, sir.
but,
Because I had sent it to her, I didn't say anything else.
okay. Do you know if the city attorney talked to her about
The
it?
city attorney responded on April the 14th on all the complaints dealing with all of that.
And how did he respond?
He just explained everything that had been going on and what was happening.
That at any point in his explanation, did he say you were doing anything wrong or you were hindering the process of the city government moving forward in what it was doing?
No.
Go ahead, man.
So on May the 1st, Councilmember Hudson submitted a formal complaint against me with the Georgia Attorney General Office that I had violated Open Meetings Act, obstruction of elected official rights and unethical conduct, that I unlawfully refused to provide executive session minutes and despite her entitlement to it, and that I obstructed transparency by assisting the mayor in concealing information, which were all not true.
So did that go before the panel? Did they rule on it?
Yes, they did.
What was the ruling that they made on that?
They dismissed the case because they didn't find anything that I had done wrong.
Okay, so up to that point, she had a number of complaints, correct? She formalized those complaints, she sent them up, and some independent body other than anybody here in Fairburn looked at it, correct?
Yes,
And they concluded that she had no basis for her complaints, am I correct?
correct.
Okay, so what happened after that?
Then on July the 23rd, Councilmember Hudson asked that I no longer do any of her travel and training, that my assistant would do her travel and training, and the mayor explained to her that that was not the way it worked, and she accused me of making disparaging remarks and creating a hostile work environment, and that
I apologize. Did she say what the comments of what it was you were supposed to have said?
she said I said I was tired of her.
Did you ever say that?
Nope. I said I was tired of what was happening at the council meeting. I did say that.
Thank you, go ahead.
She said that, she further said that any member of the mayor's administration who engages in speech and conduct that aims to portray her as the problem, she would file a formal complaint or take legal action against. So on July the 24th, I filed the EEO complaint with the city of Fairburn Personnel Office, and I asked them if they would, filed it because of all the emails that I was getting, the constant harassment, because every email that I got, I answered, the constant lies and defamation of my character that was being sent to mayor and council, that was being on Facebook, that was being sent to the Attorney General's office, discrimination of my age. She said several times that I'm sick of dealing with you old people. I am 70 years old. And creating a hostile work environment. I never knew what I was going to be up against when I came in here the next morning. So I filed that, and I felt that I was getting retaliated against because the Attorney General's office said that I had not done anything wrong. So after that, I received from someone a copy in August, and I'm not sure of the date because I have it on my phone, a copy of the letter that the mayor had sent to Councilmember Hudson in executive session, asking her informing her that I had filed an EEO complaint against her. That was on the Facebook page, which I thought was supposed to have been with personnel. Now, therefore, all of the employees know that I'd filed the EEO against a council person.
Excuse me, I want to be very clear about this. Is it protocol that you publish that stuff for other people to see?
No, sir, that was in executive session. It's a personnel matter.
Okay, so I want to be clear what you're stating in front of this body. That she published something that was not supposed to be published, that was very private information.
Yes, sir.
And who did she publish it to?
It was on the Facebook page.
Okay, so it's to anybody who wanted to go to the Facebook page. And this is despite the fact that she's accusing you of doing something of the same. She's literally doing this, and I think she makes a comment that she's not going to listen to the board or something to that effect, right?
Right.
And she's very clear about that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
That was the last thing I received that, and that was when the complaint was filed for filing personnel information out on the Facebook page.
All right, thank you. I don't know how the board wants to do this, but that's all I have for her. If you want to ask her a question, I do have 20 minutes, so I'd like to call the mayor so he can state his portion.
Board members, are there any questions at this time for Ms. James?
Yeah, I have a question. You mentioned that there was a podcast that some disparaging remarks were made. Which podcast was that? Who's the administrator for that podcast?
It says Fairburn Voters Matter, Councilmember Hudson.
And you also mentioned that she asked for the names for the investigative committees.
Right.
Did she ever say why she wanted that?
No.
You also mentioned
Well,
that.
she filed a letter back to me stating that I couldn't put those people on the investigative committee. But I was saying those people were not the people for that particular ethics complaint. The people that I sent the email to were for the complaint between Hudson and Heath, not between, she filed against, I think, Davis, Hattie, and one other.
And to your knowledge, referring to the investigative committee, did you or anyone else explain to her that the investigative committee is already set? It's nothing that anybody puts in place? To your knowledge, did anybody explain that to her?
Well, the investigative, I didn't explain it to her then, the investigative committee is always the remaining council members who are not included in the case.
I just want to make sure that the public knows that.
Yes.
And now you mentioned a podcast. You also mentioned a Facebook page. What is the particular name of that Facebook page, and who's the administrator, if you know?
The same, Councilwoman Hudson. It could be Fairburn Voters Matter or Fairburn Forward. But a lot of it is, and the communications person and some of the others would get it. When we come out to council meeting, Councilwoman Hudson would go out sit in the outside and have her podcast about what went on in the council meeting.
Thank you.
I have a question. With the filing of not filing, but placing on Facebook and the podcast, was there any retaliation from you, from the resident of the city of Fairburn from that?
From the residents?
Yes.
Not to me, but it could, if I was trying to get another job, it could hurt me. It could mean that I'm violating the Open Meetings Act, or I'm doing something that I should not do, and that's not true.
I just want to, I wanted to know whether you was feeling threatened from some of the comments, any retaliation from her Facebook posting and her iPod.
I felt that it was defamation of my character. I've been a clerk since 1999, and I've never been to the Attorney General or never had anyone to say that I'm violating open meetings or open records, or that I'm doing something because you and the mayor have an issue, and therefore it's put on.
Okay, so you just had, it really brought defamation to your character.
Yes, ma'am.
But you didn't have any result from the citizens of the city of Fairburn.
No, ma'am. A lot of citizens came to me and said, I'm praying for you, or I don't know what it was for, but they would say that to me.
Okay, thank you.
I want to ask, after the state offices turned her down, did she in any way try to appeal that decision from the state?
I don't know, because it goes to,
I'm sorry.
I don't know. I mean, she always says, I'm taking you all to the Attorney General, or I'm doing this. So you don't know until they send it to you. When they sent it, they called and asked for the attorney's address, the attorney's information, and they sent it to the attorney, and the attorney had to respond to the complaint.
Okay.
I have one more question. With all that have taken place during this duration, has it been anyone that have tried to sit down with you and her to explain the procedure of how it works as a city council person with the city clerk?
I don't think anybody would sit down with us right now. We don't have any correspondence at all. I mean, when I send out stuff, if it goes to the entire council, I do. We don't have straight communications because I feel that I don't need to have communications with her.
I was talking about in the beginning when it first started.
Oh, we spoke a long time ago when it first started, and it was, you know, I heard things, but I have no hard feelings towards you, you know. We worked together, and I said, you know what, I'm a professional. I treat everybody the same, and I always used to joke and say, I like the mayor, but I only wear orange for Brenda James, not for Mayor Avery. So,
Do you think that the city made available to her all the training she would have needed to understand the materials that she was sending out concerning laws and procedures?
oh, yes.
She at any time take advantage of the trainings that the city set up?
All council members go to training. They go to all.
She take
tra- she-
advantage of?
Yes, she's been to training.
I have a question, Ms. James. Can you expound on the age discrimination comment? What context, what phrase, what form was that used?
I'm not gonna fool with you old folk no more. I'm tired of being up here with all you old folk.
And she told you that
She's-
directly?
She, not to me, but she would say it,
To whom?
just on the mic. It could be me, it could be council member, any council member. It's just the fact, I'm sick of fooling with you old folk.
And was
Not
that,
directly at me, but I'm sitting here when it's said.
do you recall the context it was used in? Was it at a recorded city council meeting?
It should be recorded. Now, if, for me to go find it, I don't know, but it's been said a couple of times.
Okay. Do you remember what the discussion?
It wasn't a discussion. I mean, it could have been her and the mayor going at it.
Okay.
And then get, you know, at the end of it, I'm just sick of fooling with you old folk. Or her and Councilwoman Hattie Portis Jones, I'm sick of fooling with you old folk. And it could have been meant to her. But, you know, for me, I'm an old folk.
So you took offense to it, but
Exactly.
you're not for sure if it was
Meant
directly?
directed for me, but I
for
took
you.
offense to it, yes.
Okay. And is your EEOC complaints pending investigation still?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other questions?
I have one question. I want to be clear about something, Ms. James. You stated a few minutes ago that if a council member is not present in the executive section, they don't have privilege to the information?
No, well, see, in executive session, when you go into executive session, we don't really have to record the minutes, but what we do have to record is what was discussed. If there is a big discussion in executive session, say for instance, it's about property or whatever, those minutes are sealed after that. And when you come out and vote, you come out and vote, and anybody can get that. But all of the discussion in an executive session is sealed, and they are opened by law. You go to court, and when you go to court, the judge, they omit to take pictures of it, of what's handwritten and what's that. And this particular executive session was in the board with, between Hudson and Heath. And neither one of them were in there, and neither one of them needed to know that you said what you said. So,
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, board members? Council, Mr. Cox?
Good afternoon, everybody. My question is back to the sequences on the code. It's not directly with her. I don't know if it's the proper time to ask.
Sir, can you speak in your mic?
The question I need to ask is about the sequence of events they have with the letters and the sequences that the code is addressing now, not directly with her and the clerk. So do I need to answer that to the judge, to the
council?
attorney now, at this time?
My suggestion would be that if you have a question for me or a question of the complainant in general, but not of the clerk, that we conclude the clerk's testimony, let her step down off the stand or off the table, as it were, and then you move on to ask whatever question it is.
what I need to do is get the sequence of events. The sequence of events as I have it is that the filing of the EEO complaint, and that got into the mayor to file for the complaint to go to the ethics, which went to the, at that time, not the ethics, but to the city council, for us to, the city council to deal with the complaint. Okay, during that time, some things happened. At that time, if I'm not mistaken, that Ms. Hudson did some things before that happened. What was the first thing she did?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
The first thing, I understand there was a problem with her and another one of the council members prior to this escalating with the secretary. Then it turned after she was in a prior altercation with another council member. Then when they had a council meeting, and then there was an issue came up as to whether or not the meeting should be open or closed. They indicated to her that the meeting, that they had the people there for the meeting, that it did not have to go to the public, and I think that became an issue. That's when the bigger part of this broke off into something bigger. I think her and the secretary had already had some issues going on prior to it spinning around till it got to the mayor. So when this whole issue came up about whether or not the meeting could be open or public, they went on and had the meeting. From that, another complaint came out from Ms. Hudson, which has us here now, because after that, she goes and she starts attacking the secretary, and then the mayor steps in on her behalf and says, cease and desist, and she basically makes it clear she's not gonna do any of that.
Okay, let's back up a little bit. So the first thing happened is we got a problem with her. She filed filed the complaint. Okay, we threw the complaint with her there, okay. Then the next action was taken by the mayor, right? Just say it was just,
Her filing, well,
the action on her complaint was gonna go to the city council, right? Right.
Okay.
So she rejected that going to the city council. The next thing happened was she made a comment, and the mayor made the comment that she could not talk about this to other people because it's going to the city council, because you're all here set up to have the meeting and everything done in closed sessions at city council at this time, right? Okay, the next thing after he gave her the letter not to do it, she said she was gonna do it for transparency. Is that correct?
yes, that's her explanation.
Okay. Next thing, the attorney sent a letter saying, you can't do that. The mayor's correct in saying that you can't do this, right?
Right.
The next thing that happened after that was she did the public thing,
She posted,
posted the public thing.
right.
Is that the correct
That
sequence?
is correct.
Okay.
Council, I have a question. Going back to the executive session meeting, and my understanding is this is kind of where this all kind of had a domino effect and spiraled. Is that correct?
I think for this portion, yes.
Okay. For purposes of this hearing, is that correct?
Yes.
Are there allegations that you're aware of by the respondent that that meeting was not properly held? What is the issue surrounding that executive session? And is that why she was so adamant to get I need a better understanding on this executive session that was held? And was it held in a proper manner?
I can call back the witness. I just called. Can we call?
Absolutely, please.
Ma'am, would you come up, please? You've previously been sworn in, and so I want to follow up and just ask you some. Are you familiar with the meeting that the question has been presented me to about?
About the first executive session, or are you talking about the meeting that they had where the mayor is now filing the complaint?
The executive session that created the spiral of emails in April
If I may, okay.
demanding records that she was informed she wasn't privy to because she was not in that executive session. Why was she not in that executive session?
Okay. She was not there because she filed a complaint against Councilmember Heath. When you file the complaint, the investigating committee hears the complaint. The investigating committee is all remaining mayor and council members and the city attorney. So neither of them were in that meeting. What happened, we talked just like you're talking now, and then when they got ready to deliberate, they went into executive session to deliberate so that they can talk about what can't be talked about in the public. Once they decided what they wanted to do, they came back out in regular meeting to vote on what they wanted to vote on. Same as you would do if you wanted to deliberate, you would go into executive session and then come out and vote.
I see. And so the records the respondent was requesting were all pertaining to the executive session, pertaining to the complaint that she was pursuing against Councilmember Heath.
Right.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Any further questions?
I think I have one. So, yes. As far as the executive sessions, were there any other executive sessions that were missed by Ms. Hudson? Like, did she miss any other executive
Well,
session?
I can't answer that without going back to check and see whether she was at the meeting or not. But the executive session is called by the attorney if he says we need to have an executive session, and then they vote. They vote to go into executive session. So a vote is taken to go there. You cannot sit in an executive session if you are part of the issue.
Gotcha.
Now, I'm sure there probably has been another executive session because there was another complaint or something that was filed. There was an executive session to discuss my EEO, and neither one of us could go in it. She couldn't go in it, and I couldn't go in it.
So do you think this, the labels and the procedures that go with the labels for all these meetings and councils, does that seem to be what's missing? It's a matter of reading and understanding the material before making accusations. Do you think that this is what has happened, that there was limited understanding or investment before making the accusations?
No, ma'am. The
Okay, so
attorney
it's-
explains everything. The attorney has put everything in writing. He has put in writing about the executive session. He has put in writing why we can go into executive session. The Attorney General ruled that the executive session was legal to go in there. And, Mr. Starkey gives papers and papers laying out what the law is, where you can find this and everything. But he doesn't know what he's talking about as far as some people are concerned.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all I have for Ms. James. Any other questions for Ms. James?
Me good. Nothing.
Counsel, you may proceed.
At this time, I'd like to swear in Mayor Avery and ask him some questions. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you affirm to swear that the testimony you're about to give this evening before this panel will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? State your full name for the record, sir.
Mayor Mario Avery, Mayor of the City of Fairburn.
Okay, Ms. Avery, what do you know about this situation, and when did you get involved with it? And explain to the panel, what did you do?
I was actually apprised of an issue. I want to say it was around early August. And basically, in this case, prior to that, actually, Ms. James had mentioned to me, that, Mayor, I'm getting harassed, and I may have to ask the council, to do something about it, or I'm about to take it in my own hands. And so, long story short, I received on August the 6th a notice of complaint So, August the 6th, I was told a notice of complaint was filed by the city clerk, a EEO complaint. And then, at which time, I actually composed a letter to basically ensure that, well, excuse not me, excuse me, the city attorney, if I'm correct, if city clerk's office properly informed council as a whole that a notice of EEO complaint had been filed. Then, at which time, on August the 7th, one of my records is, Ms. Hudson pretty much made it clear that she would not comply with any of the, any information that I'd given her as it relates to cease and desist. I sent the letter to cease and desist in my efforts to protect the government for what I'm in the compliance business. And so I fully understand in this case what I believe was creating a legal exposure for the city, because at this point, Ms. James had never said she would sue anybody, never alleged that, but having been in this business long as I have in the compliance business, if the city did not take some type of affirmative action to request her to stop harassing this woman, at which point, which is when I sent the cease and desist, at which time, August the 7th, excuse me, at which time Ms. Hudson indicated on a letter, August the 11th, she would not comply.
Let me ask you a question. Is it your understanding that, as a whole, the city could be sued and brought into this through a civil action by, I guess, the secretary or anybody else who had a problem with what she was doing?
That's correct.
And could have created exposure for the city to be financially harmed or even sought after? You would have to pay to defend yourself and otherwise to even try to recoup from her. Is that correct?
That's correct.
With that being said, you informed her of these things and she did not slow down or even consider the onset of burden that she was putting on the city and everybody involved in this process. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, you can go.
Well, then, and that also, one of the things that really concerned me was that in this case, Ms. Hudson's actions comprised, in this case, created potential legal exposure for the city of Fairburn. It undermines the rights of our employees, both federal, state, and municipal, according to municipal law. So my major concern as mayor was not only that you were exposing city clerk personal information, but you were actually exposing the government as a whole to legal liability that we would have, that citizens' taxpayer money would have to pay for. At which time the city attorney came behind me on August the 7th and sent basically a verification letter that the email that I sent to Ms. Hudson was legally sound. In summary, that's what he was indicating. Everything that I stated to Ms. Hudson, asking her to cease and desist, was legally sound.
Was there a response to your letter to cease and desist?
Yes.
What was her response?
Her response, in summary, was that you have no authority over me, and I will not, and I will not comply to what you have mentioned. Okay, so then, at which point, disclosure of violation of confidentiality on August the 9th, basically in this case, information was conveyed that I apologize, I got my notes mixed up. A public disclosure of violation of confidentiality. In this case, in summary, Ms. Hudson was clearly made aware of the city code that clearly says you cannot share confidential information, and so she made that real clear that she was not going to comply.
So let me ask you, I think it's come out twice, at least in front of this panel. They go through a training process before they're brought in to start working, correct?
That's correct.
Was that information given to her at that training session? Are you aware of what kind of information they could reveal to the public and to their constituents?
Yes, GMA does extensive training as it relates to do's and don'ts. They actually, in this case, because I left off and came back, one of the things that's very commendable for GMA, they actually do a mock council meeting to show things that can be done, things that cannot be done. So again, as it relates to Ms. Hudson not being aware of what was actually authorized, That's almost virtually impossible. The other part, Ms. Hudson brags about having I believe, a doctorate degree now recently in policy. There's no in the world, if you got a background, that kind of policy, I have an MBA in business administration. There's no in the world, that type of information, you didn't read this policy. I've read through it 6 or 7 times.
Madam Chair, the 20 minutes for the complainant's time has expired. If the board would like to hear additional information from the complainant, I would recommend a motion to extend the time limit to do so. I do have a few questions for the complainant or for his counsel at the appropriate moment.
Thank you. Board, is there a motion to extend the time to hear additional information from the complainant?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That carries.
How much additional time do you want to take?
10 minutes?
Agreed.
Yes.
Motion,
Is there a motion to extend by 10 minutes?
Make the motion to extend the time to
Second.
10 minutes.
All in favor?
Aye.
That carries. Thank you.
I appreciate what Council just did. I don't know if we're gonna need stuff for you.
Yeah, I'm finished.
I think the mayor was finished explaining everything that he experienced in filing in relation to the administrator. So I think we're done with that. I may have a few, well, I think I did.
You do have closing remarks remaining.
The council want me to get into that now? You want me to go ahead and close? I'm gonna close.
Madam Chair, if you'll permit me, there are a few things I'd like to ask before.
Absolutely, and I do, and I'm sorry if I missed this, I do have a question as well, Mr. Ash, before you proceed, if that's okay. Council, can you confirm, I'm sorry if I missed this, the date of the formal filing of the EEOC complaint, and whom was it, which departments was it filed with?
1 second. Yeah, notice of the EEOC, cease and desist directed August the 6th, 2025, on Wednesday, August the 6th, 2025. Council Hudson formally notified by letter, copy to the entire city council, that the city clerk, Brenda James, had filed a written employment opportunity complaint with the Human Resource Director, naming Ms. Hudson as the subject. The letter confirmed the complaint was proper and actionable under the section 2-5.6 A of the city personal policy and procedure manual. Ms. Hudson was advised that the retaliation, direct or indirect, against Ms. James was strictly prohibited under section 2-50.6B and could result in additional consequences, including formal council action or referral to ethics and legal authorities. She was explicitly instructed that because this is pending personal matter, any discussions must be conducted only in a duly convened executive session, not in public meetings. Despite all that, she went on.
And council members are bound by that procedural manual, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and so the EEOC complaint was filed with the city of Fairburn. Was it filed with any federal agency or any other entity?
My understanding is that it was not filed with federal, not with any other agency.
Okay, but council members are bound by that employee procedural manual?
Correct.
And they are aware of that in training? Okay, thank you.
From everything we derived, she is aware, it was explained to her, and she had more than enough time. If she had any, in her dealings with the city attorney, she could have gotten anything clarified. And it's my understanding, although we haven't asked questions to it, that she not only was aware of the city attorney, she's asking many questions, and she sort of cherry picks what she really wants to know and what she doesn't.
Understood, thank you. Mr. Ash?
I have one more question. So as far as, you issued the cease and desist, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then she responded by saying she would just refuse to comply.
Yes.
Did she give any particular reason as far as why she decided?
I think the word, if I may, I think the word that she continues to use throughout, it's a catchphrase, catch-all, she says transparency. That's what she uses. That's the replete in everything when she's approached about these things and told that she's wrong for doing them. She goes back to free speech and transparency.
So in this case, the reason that she gave for,
Transparency. That is literally the reason she gave.
you said free speech too.
Well, in this, for that particular, the last one, she said, in an effort to be transparent, she's gonna let her council member know things that she knows specifically as her membership to this body, that she's not supposed to give out to the public.
Is
But that's her rationale for giving it out.
So when she's using the word transparency, is she saying transparency between herself and other council members, or is she saying transparency between herself and the general public?
Well,
Or does
let
she
me-
not make that clear?
Let me speculate, because I don't know how she's putting this together. What my reading of what she's saying is transparency with her public, her constituents, and with this body. Even though this body doesn't agree with her definition and interpretation of what transparency is, it has instructed and informed her that that's not transparent, that is you giving out information that is not supposed to be shared with the public.
That's what I'm trying to get clarity on. Okay,
She
thank you.
keeps calling that transparent.
Okay, got you.
Okay, I have a question before you, Mr. Mayor Avery, you said Ms. Hudson, on August the 9th, she broke the confidentiality. Was that with the posting on Facebook and the iPad that she did, or was it something else?
There's actually a posting, give me 1 second, I actually want to make sure. It was actually a posting that she posted this, and it's called this case, when transparency is placed with silence, that was the title, I believe, of it, and then the website, in this case.
Do you have those?
Yeah, I believe it, actually, that's it.
Can we mark this as exhibit 1 and put it up for camera?
So this is what I was suggesting. I distributed both sides' counsel prior to the meeting 3 proposed consent exhibits. They are in your notebooks as tabs 5, 6, and 7. If the board will permit me, I think I can authenticate them with the complainant and recommend their admission. I did not receive a response or objection to doing so prior to the hearing, but would suggest that it would be helpful to have them as part of the record right now. And I think that the contents of those may well answer some of the questions.
And I have no objection to what council is asking. I agree.
Is there a motion to,
May I, Madam Chair, if I may,
yes, sir,
go through the exercise of getting them admitted?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Mayor Avery, please take a look at mark in the top corner. A. This is, I believe, tab 6. Or, excuse me, it's tab 6.
Okay.
Mayor, do you recognize that document?
I do.
Is this a copy of the cease and of what you referred to as the cease and desist letter earlier?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At this point, Madam Chair, I would recommend that the board admit this as Exhibit A. But, and that's a decision you can make, subject to being overruled by a majority vote of your board, but it is by the rules of the board, a decision for you to make. But my role is to recommend its admission to you, which I do.
Yes, I would, there's no objection on my end to this being admitted as Exhibit A.
All right. Next, I will give the complainant what I've marked as Exhibit B. This, for the board's benefit, is tab 7 in your books. Mayor Avery, do you recognize this document?
I do.
Is it a copy of of the email chain in which Councilmember Hudson responds to your cease and desist letter and then discusses the basis for which her opinions about said letter?
That's correct.
And this is what you were referring to earlier when you said that she said she would not comply with your letter. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. But you're familiar with this, and it appears to be a true and correct copy of that email exchange?
It is.
Madam Chair, I would recommend the board admit this as Exhibit B.
I have no objection to admitting Exhibit B into evidence.
Last, I'll hand you what I've marked as Exhibit C. Mr. Mayor, do you recognize this document?
I do.
Is this a copy of the ethics complaint you submitted giving rise to this proceeding?
Yes, sir.
And is the attachment to the complaint itself a copy of the posting you were referring to earlier?
Yes, sir, it is.
On that basis, I recommend to the board it admit this document, which is tab 5 in your notebooks, as Exhibit C.
No objection in it admitting Exhibit C.
That is the sum total of my questions for the witness.
Okay.
I have a question. Mayor, I want to kind of make something clear and reiterate something you said about, as the CEO of this city, and it was your duty to send out a stop and desist letter?
Yes, sir. It is my duty to ensure that and all employees and even council members are dealt with respectfully and free of harassment.
Okay. And that was based on the fact that, you know, the city could have been held liable for Ms. Hudson action?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Board members, are there any other questions for council or the complainant? Council, do you have any closing remarks at this time?
Yes, and I'll be brief.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen of this panel,
Would you move the microphone over?
thank you. I really just want to say thank you all for your patience and everything that we've gone through this evening. But what I want to say in closing is this. I think the facts of this have been rehashed at least several times in front of this panel here this evening. I've struggled with, I think what's in front of this panel is making a decision on what to do with an elected official who, first we have to decide is making decisions not to follow rules on her own and willfully. I think the city of Fairburn, to be successful and to succeed, I think this panel has to decide whether this individual is a hindrance to what is trying to be accomplished here for city purposes and the constituents, or if this is really a violation of somebody who's really trying to do work for its constituents. I think when you have a city attorney who's been selected and being paid to represent the city, who's knowledgeable of the law governing the city and the rules of this council, and that they give the information to the council member that is needed to help clarify her concerns, which has been stated what has occurred in this particular case. And she continues, despite being informed of the information, to go out and do things against the law, against procedure and code, and to put this city in jeopardy of being exposed to civil litigation. I don't know. I mean, I think for me, my first concern, like the panel has gotten into earlier, is there a problem with her mental capacity and understanding what she's being told and how she's being trained? Does she have a capacity limit of understanding what's being told to her? Because if she doesn't, then we get to the clear disregard for rules and following law. And that's kind of where we are. I don't envy the panel and the decision it has to make. I think I think what is upon you is really considering how you want this city council to work. I mean, I've never seen a clearer example of it. You have a clear example of an individual who doesn't want to hear anything the mayor has to say, the city attorney. It's not like we have one person on her side here saying, yeah, I kind of agree with her. She might be right. Let's look into the law. Everybody has told her she's wrong. And despite her knowing that she's wrong, she keeps doing what she does. So I think that this body has to decide whether or not she's prohibiting the function and the growth of this body. Is she allowing for work to be done for its constituents, or is she single-handedly obstructing and upholding progress here? I would answer that with the response in the email exchanges I've read, yes, she is. That's what I would argue. I would ask the panel to go back and look at this, and then if you come up with a different verdict or opinion, then I guess that's what you will come up with. But I cannot, even to find out that she has a doctorate degree, we're not talking about a comprehension issue here. We're talking about a refusal to accept what is being told to you by an attorney for the city who has liability if he's lying. I mean, if he's telling her something wrong, she has a right to go after him. She hasn't gone after anybody, but she yet continues to do the same thing, hindering the progress of this city to move forward with the business of the city. I would ask that the city, that however you all rule, that you rule with yourselves in mind and the city in mind, and how you want to move this city. And is she being a part of your ability to do that? That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Board, is there a motion to go into executive session at this time
So moved.
For the purposes of deliberation.
for the purposes of deliberation?
Who made that motion?
Who,
And who seconded
I
it?
did.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
I do want to say I forgot to say one last thing.
Okay.
And I do need to say this in this hearing. I think the other thing I would point out to the panel before you go back and make your decision. Today, I mean, we come in here today for this hearing. The information about this hearing has been known for at least 2-3 weeks, a month, minimum. The fact that she is not here, and on the day of the hearing, her reaction to this hearing is exactly what they're dealing with on the council panel and meetings. She knows she has a hearing. Half an hour before we start the hearing, there's an email sent out saying I'm out of town, despite the fact that you know. And every arrangement that could have been made legally and procedurally that you could have filed to protect yourself, she just didn't do. So I guess the panel also has to decide whether this is not knowing the rules, not caring about the rules, or just not doing any. I mean, I don't know how you decide that, but it's evident that she's not here. She knew to be here. We only found out about her being out of town today. I don't know why, when we knew this was already scheduled, it wasn't sent out, hey, I won't be there, I'll be out of town. But this is the mindset of the individual that you are dealing with. So I guess it's not incumbent on me to tell you what to do. It's incumbent on you for the protection of the city and how it proceeds and how you want it to grow or not grow, or what you want out of the city, to decide whether or not she's a functioning, contributing, positive contributing member of this body. And if not, then y'all need to decide what y'all want to do about it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ash, will we be deliberating and?
So at this point, we'll move into executive session.
Everybody show.
Good evening. Tonight, we were tasked with determining by the preponderance of the evidence and testimony presented tonight if a violation has occurred. Is there a motion tonight in that regard?
I make a motion that a violation have occurred.
Is there a second?
Second,
Second?
Who seconded?
Anderson.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. We were also tasked with recommending a sanction for any violations that have occurred. All right. Is there a motion or recommendation in that regard as to what that sanction should be?
I make a motion that, the sanction would be, removal of impeachment procedure.
A second.
All in favor?
Smith and Ragland.
Second, who seconded that motion?
Ms. Jones?
Ragland.
Ragland.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And I do oppose that recommendation.
With a 5-1 vote.
Yes, that is correct, 5-1. And that motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
So move.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Meeting adjourned.